laughing. It's so foolish. However, no, whenever I have come to go into Iran, you have always treated me with respect. You've always respected my scholarship. So here is a fundamental difference. And when the revolution took place in 1979, the Shia world responded with conviction that this was a validation of the Shia claim to truth. Let me repeat that statement. When the revolution took place successfully in Iran in 1979, the Shia world, largely the Shia world, responded by recognizing this success as a validation of the Shia claim to truth. Today, I have to remind you of that. Because if today the Iranian people are turning against the revolution, and if they're going out on the streets and demonstrating against the revolution, and these are the children of the revolution, these are the ones who are all less than 50, 55 years of age, they are the ones who are on the street. Then, if the revolution collapses, then that will invalidate your claim to truth. By your own yardstick, your own measuring rod will now invalidate your claim to truth. So now then, when Islam came to Medina, it lit a fire in the hearts of all those who became Muslims. They would die for Islam. Every single one of them would die for Islam. Every single one of them will die for the Khilafah state. That was the community we had. And the longer the Islamic State in Medina lived during the lifetime of the Prophet, the stronger and stronger it became. Until by the time of Hudaybiyah and then Fateh Makkah, we became strongest of all. So by the time the Prophet ﷺ performed the farewell Hajj, the Islamic State was at its zenith. So we are accustomed to moving uphill with the Khilafah state, not downhill. He had only 10 years. You have had 46 years. You have to explain to the world, how is it after 46 years, all of these who've been born after the revolution, or who were children when the revolution took place, so many of them are now not happy with the revolution. And the enemy is able to exploit the situation. It is not that the Muslims, the Shia Muslims of Iran are betraying Islam, that they want to leave Islam. That is not the case. It is not that they are siding with the enemies of Islam, joining hands with Israel, joining hands with the United States to cut the throat of the revolution. That is false. That is nonsense. It is that Israel is exploiting an opportunity, and the United States is exploiting an opportunity because they are protesting in Iran. And the question we have to ask is, why is this happening? And we need honest answers. We don't need propaganda. We need honest answers. One of the very first reasons why there are all these protests in Iran is a subject I've been teaching you in Iran for 25 years or more. That's a long time. I went to Iran myself and I lectured on the subject. I met with so many ayatollahs in Iran to discuss the subject with them about money, about the Iranian rial, about the Iranian toman. And I explained to them that this money was bogus, this money was fraudulent, this money was haram. I did this to Afghanistan as well. When there was an Islamic government in Afghanistan 25, 30 years ago, and Afghanistan said, no, Imran, you're wrong, we don't agree with you. Yes, they accepted the bogus money as halal. I tried to teach this subject to Pakistan, but nobody can teach Pakistan anything. No. The brainwashing in Pakistan is even more than in Afghanistan. So I failed with Afghanistan. I failed with Pakistan, and I was teaching it to Iran. Some of the ayatollahs I met in Iran accepted that the monetary system was bogus and fraudulent and haram. I have to pray for Allah's mercy on the soul of that great man, Ayatollah Shirazi. And this was an elderly man in Qom. And I went to his home, and he had so many of his students sitting on the floor, on the carpet. And I sat with them until the old man came and sat next to me. And this old man held my hands while talking to me. He held my hands. Unforgettable. And this old man taught me a lesson on Riba I could not teach in 1,000 lectures, to show how Riba sucks the wealth of the people and leaves them in destitution and poverty. And that's why they're protesting. He took 2 mugs, one with water and the other with lemonade. And he took 10 glasses and he started pouring water and lemonade, but diluting the lemonade in each glass until eventually the last glass, he said, taste it. I couldn't taste any lemonade. It was only water. He said, that's Riba. That's how they rip off the people, suck the wealth of the country, and eventually you end up in destitution. This monetary system is Riba. That man has now died. May Allah have mercy on his soul. But he recognized it as haram, and he was an Ayatollah. I met in Shiraz with Ayatollah bin Azari. And Ayatollah bin Azari also agreed with me. He said about the monetary system, the rial and the toman. He said, this is the root of all evil in Iran. But then I met with one of the greatest Ayatollahs in Iran. I can't mention his name. And I tried to talk to him about the subject of money. It was like talking to a blank wall. I couldn't make no sense. No, sir. He didn't know anything on the subject. I don't want to talk more about him. But the Ayatollahs told me in Iran, Sheikh, you have to go to Ayatollah Khamenei yourself. And you have to convince him that the money which is being used in Iran is bogus and fraudulent and haram. And if you can get him to change his views, then all of Iran will agree, and the dinar and dirham will be established in Iran. I said to them, I will never do such a thing. My duty is simply to teach, and I've done my job to teach. You must now bring the change. 46 years have passed, and Iran is still using bogus money, like Pakistan, like Afghanistan, like the rest of the world of Islam. But you are the Islamic Revolution. A million Iranians had to die for you to bring this revolution to success. They're shuhada. What have you done in 46 years? Dajjal is the one who brought modern Western civilization into being. You don't even recognize that as yet. How long do you take to recognize that? And modern Western civilization is the one who has brought this monetary system. The International Monetary Fund has prohibited the use of gold as money.